All right, ladies and gentlemen, we go live now to Florida on the AT&T Sports Line to pay tribute to an icon. He is Tito Francona, with my friend and the best baseball beat writer in America, the man behind the Pratte Report, John Pratte. John, good afternoon. Welcome to Legacy Studios.
Oh, thanks for having me, Rob. Oh, it's good to be with you.
John Patsy Francona, November the 4th, 1933. As a child and throughout the entire time that he was on this earth, simply known as Tito, a name given to him by his father. He was born in Aliquippa but grew up in New Brighton, but learned to play the great game. When his dad would go to work in the summer in the mill that was J&L, Tito would go along for the ride and learn to play baseball in those incredible fields in Aliquippa. He batted left, he threw left. His Major League Baseball debut, April 17, 1956, with Baltimore. His last Major League appearance, September 29, 1970, with the Milwaukee Brewers. His batting average, .272, 125 home runs, and he batted in 656 runs. Baltimore, the White Sox, Detroit, Cleveland, St. Louis, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Oakland, and Milwaukee. All right, just a couple of short stories, Mr. Pratte, then you can jump in and share all of your knowledge of a really close friend of yours for many years, New Brighton native Terry Francona's father, Tito, who passed away yesterday at the age of 84. 1958, a hot spring, he won the starting right field job. He stayed in Chicago, very short time there, and he was dealt to Detroit. And guess who was playing the outfield in right then? Future Hall of Famer Al Kaline, who never spent a single moment in the minor leagues. So Francona only got 84 plate appearances, and he demanded a trade. And on March 21st, 1959, he was traded for Cleveland for the great Larry Doby. He began the 1959 season as a pinch hitter and utility man with his new franchise. After going 5 for 9 on a June 7th doubleheader, he replaced the legendary longtime broadcaster Jimmy Pearsall as Cleveland's starting center fielder. Toward the end of the season, he was shifted to first, and their regular first baseman, Vic Power, was placed at second. For the season, he batted .363, had a career-high 20 homers, and drove in 79 runs. However, he fell 34 at-bats short, necessary to qualify for the batting title. In 1961, when he was chosen, he was batting .293 for the All-Star team. He had 11 home runs and 53 RBIs. He was the director of Parks and Recreation in Beaver County until he retired in 1997. And now, John, this is where you use your great baseball knowledge and talk about Tito Francona.
Well, you know, Rob, a lot of the stories you see today on the internet refer to Tito as father of Cleveland Indians manager Terry Francona, and that's true. And certainly I know Tito is very proud of what Terry did, and, you know, everything. Terry's won 2 World Series, got to another World Series for the Indians, went to a 7th game. But that's really not fair to Tito. Tito was a fine player in his own right, as you just recapped so well there with some of the highlights of his career. And just, you know, he played 15 years for 9 different teams, and just was a really good, solid big league player for a long time. And, you know, at the time that he played 15 years, Rob, it wasn't today where you had 30 teams. You know, there weren't nearly as many teams when he broke into the big leagues. There were only 16 teams. So you really had to be a very good player just to get to the big leagues, let alone become a starting player and become an all-star like he did in 1961. And but, you know, but when you think of Tito, though, and everything he accomplished, the great seasons, the nearly winning the batting title, making an all-star game, all the other things he did. But when you think of Tito, you just think of what a class individual he was. And I know that gets thrown out a lot these days. This guy's classy, that guy is. But it's no BS with Tito. He was a wonderful, wonderful guy, very humble, very nice. And, you know, he's one of those people, Rob, when you were with him, he always made you feel like you were the most important person in the world, you know, and that's really rubbed off because Terry's the same way. And, you know, Terry's one of the most beloved people in baseball. He really doesn't have an enemy in the game, and I think a lot of that is because of the way he was raised by Tito and his mother, and, you know, the apple hasn't fallen very far from the tree, and I know a lot of people in baseball today saddened by the fact that Tito is gone after living a very good, long, full life, living to 84 years of age.
You know, Terry was quoted as saying that he didn't really see his father much for the first 12 years of his life because his dad was playing in the bigs, but he never felt as though his dad was very far away. and he said that is a testament to what kind of father Tito Francona was.
It is, and you know, and the baseball lifestyle is very difficult to be a parent, to be a husband. You're away from home a lot. You're away from home in spring training. You're away half the season. You know, and it's so you don't spend that quality time, as much quality time with your family as you do in you know, in a lot of other professions, and it's tough. And you see so many kids and players feel disenfranchised. I remember Barry Bonds telling me once that he just hated his father when he was a kid because he just couldn't grasp the fact that his father wasn't around all the time. And that speaks volumes for Tito, that Terry's saying, even though the first 12 years of his life that his dad was gone so much because of his job, because of being a big league player, he never felt he was far away, because that tells you how well that Tito, the kind of person he was, to be able to juggle a very demanding profession that took him away from home so much, but yet still be a great father to Terry. And also, you know, we should mention Amy too, Terry's sister and Tito's daughter. I mean, both of these children have turned out to be wonderful adults and very great human beings like their parents were.
Hey, before I let you go, I have to ask you about your new venture. Tell me about the Parado Report.
Well, it's something different, Rob. It's 2 direct-to-email newsletters. It'll be 3 days a week. One will be about Major League Baseball, the other about the Pirates. You can order one, you can order the other, you can order for a month, you can order for the whole season, you can order both in a combo with a lot of different ways. You can go to the ParadoReport.com, a very detailed description of exactly what I'm doing here. It's something different. You know, as you well know, as somebody who's been in the media a long time, the media landscape changes almost daily, and you know, I'm just you try to come up with new ideas, new things that perhaps products people would want, and you know, I'm trying to capitalize on my 30 years of covering baseball. Actually, be 31 tomorrow when I go to the Pirates camp for the first time this spring, and try to use that knowledge of my contacts in the game to bring some inside information, and you know, maybe a little humor, a little gossip, a little trade rumors, a little this, a little that, a little bit of everything, 3 days a week to the readers, and hopefully they'll like it, and people will subscribe and then give it a shot. Again, like I said, you don't have to subscribe for the whole year. You can subscribe for a month and see if you like it or not. Again, it's theParadoReport.com.
Listen, coming up, we're going to continue our baseball conversation. I didn't want to ask too much of you because I know we're just getting into Florida and trying to kind of get everything in gear for what you do during this time of year. So Rich Donnelly is going to join me. He is obviously a hometown product of just up the Ohio River in Steubenville. What is he meant to the game, in your opinion, John, Rich Donnelly?
Well, you know, Rich is, you talk about beloved figures, and we just talked about that with Tito, Francona, and Terry. Rich the same way. I mean, Rich is, you know, a lifer in the game. He played professionally for 8 or 9 years. Never made it to the big leagues, unfortunately, but he did make it to the big leagues for many, many years as a manager, or as a coach, I should say, as a minor league manager, and you know, just a great baseball person. He's really spent his life in the game. He's very well liked, very knowledgeable. He's helped so many players as a coach help them reach their potential and become better. And somebody, also one of the great humorists in the game. Just a wonderful sense of humor. He's a tremendous storyteller. And I tell you, Rob, you could probably have a 5-hour special with him, and that would only get about 10% of his stories that he could tell you. Well, he's a great years in baseball. He has a great memory. He's a great storyteller. He just has an eye for funny things, and just a lot of fun. I covered teams that he coached with the Pirates for many years, and Rich is a friend, and just somebody who always is a pleasure to be around, a joy to be around, always upbeat, always happy, always bringing a smile to people's faces. And you know, I'm glad you're having him on, because he'll be a wonderful guest.
TheParadoReport.com. John Parado, have a wonderful stay in the Sunshine State, and I'm sure we'll meet again down the road, okay?
Well, that sounds good, Rob. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Good afternoon, everybody.